But ideally, you'd have like 8 lings in that time that you're trying to buy time, and when he's hitting that hatchery, you just circle around and hit the pylon, and then that's going to distract him as well. It's going to split him up. So it creates opportunities, but more importantly, the end goal is very important there as well. If you can pick off that pylon, he can't reinforce, and then you're going to win as well.
Yeah, I think the pylon should have been a much higher priority than I made it. So that puts us at 2-2, so I think Metalopolis is a fitting place to end it. And I guess as far as our time goes, I think we're going to be doing quite well with it. We'll even have some time for some questions after this last game.
Fantastic.
So, you know, the goal has been to be non-standard, but here we find ourselves, the last game of the series. I think it's only fitting that we try to play macro style for this last one.
Let's do it.
All right.
This is also going to be the first map where that, like, fast third expansion is actually much more viable and natural. At Delta Quadrant, it's kind of weird because you had to have 4 lings early, you know, destroying the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So this map, it'll look a lot better, I feel.
Man, J-Mag.
You say his ancestors are behind him?
Yeah.
His French ancestors?
I guess so.
Not sure if this is the time to be channeling his French past. Put in French victories on Google. That is pretty good.
We require more minerals. We require more minerals. We require more minerals.
Alright, enough with the history debate. I'm pretty sure it was twice.
So this game, let's end on that high note. Win the series against this guy. You can already see the positioning, obviously. There needs to be an Overlord network between your 2 bases. I do want to see that Overlord speed and Overseer earlier. I want you to be completely in tune with what his build is and where it is. And then I love these positions for that fast third, right? You take that middle expansion up there.
What do you think about just taking my third as my natural?
Yeah, that's fine too. Not nearly the same as the high yield gimmick, which is a little bit more risky. This is just completely
he's gonna be
away from him.
This game, I would think.
Yep. Some Protoss look at this and they'll think blood in the water, but a lot will just think, oh, okay, good. That pylon was worth it because now I've forced him into a weird position. And that's what he should think, to be honest. They shouldn't be like, oh, this makes me feel weird. He's going to take a faster third. I need to go attack him. He should be thinking the creep spread's not going to be connected. It's going to slow down their production. He can't get a second queen there as easily. He has to make one there. It's definitely a victory for the Protoss, but it's dangerous because if the Protoss is an idiot, then it becomes a victory for the Zerg.
And of course, G-Mag. Very beautiful freezing. So I'm trying to find that probe right now.
Good. And I like this second Overlord. One safe thing you can do is actually circle around and poke and check the gas. If you're really on top of that, you can actually see if a guy's foregating or doing something like that, right?
Yeah, if it's one gas, it's definitely a good one.
Yep. Little stuff like that I feel like is so underused by Zergs. In fact, you're seeing one gas. So it doesn't have to be a 4-gate, but as a Zerg, you do need to start kind of rallying up for it now. He did not find that probe, and you know it's out there. So you want to check the usual spots. There's that kind of high ground at the high yield between your base and his. You want to check both the towers, exactly. And you need to get speed and then pull these drones off. But you only saw the one gas, like I said, so if you're not seeing expansion or anything, this is a 4-gate.
Yep.
And it's unfortunate that he's chosen that, but it's, you know, we can't control his builds. So there comes the speedlings. You need to make a ling buffer now. And 2 zealots. 2 zealots, no sentries. I would be absolutely concerned that this is a 4-gate. And now you know it's a 4-gate. So you should make nothing but speedlings right now. And you gotta figure 2 zealots does not comprise his army, right?
Right.
He is morphing them in somewhere. Or warping them in, I guess, as it were. And this is where the Protoss looks at you taking kind of a weird expansion and is trying to capitalize on. So this will either be a win for him or a loss. He's putting it all on the line. And one thing I will say about this is I don't like your choice to take the natural and not have any lings out right now. You need to be making just billions of stuff. I do like the spine crawler. And last possible moment, pull back. Last possible moment. You just donated 3 lings. All that larva should be turned into lings. And that's not the last possible moment. Pull back. Pull back all the way. All the way. That's not it either. He's not hitting that spine crawler. It's just doing one-way damage. Pull back everything, and you're making tons of lings. Now engage the stalkers. Let the zealots kill the spine crawler. Who gives a shit? Still got lots of larvae. 3 at your natural. Here he comes. It's got to be the last possible moment again. These overlords getting picked off is really hurting. You've got another one heading from your natural. Lings are rallied over there. You got to catch them faster. You got to run your lings in, buddy. There you go. So you ran up into your base. That, just so you know, that's giving up that base.
Yep.
Man, he is a pretty infuriating guy to lose to. Servings are made of glass. Yep. Alright, couple things about this. This is a fast game. We might have time for another if you want. It's hard to hold off a 4-gate off of 2 hatches producing consistently, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you did a couple things wrong. You took a roach warren, but you weren't mining gas.
Yeah.
So that's a wasted drone, wasted minerals, wasted everything. And then you tried to take the gas, which then, you know, sucked off the drones off the minerals again. And you took a 3rd hatchery at your natural at a time when you've read 4-gate, and it didn't help. You actually ended up not using that larva. I mean, potentially it could have, and with better resource management, maybe it's good. But this is a really hard situation, made harder because of that base spot. So if anything, in this session we learn probably better just to go completely standard, right? Don't do hatch first if they block the pylon there, unless you come up with something that's a really good reaction to this, because that whole time, like, even if you use your larva efficiently, I feel like he just would have made more zealots and had enough zealots to just crush you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that you gain any kind of economic advantage by hatch firsting there. that makes up for the difference in his build. You could have picked up on the 4-gate faster, so with that second overload, let's talk about that too. Poke in for that gas as a standard. Because if you see that second gas, then guess what? It's most certainly not a 4-gate. That's the nice thing about that.
Yeah.
It's a hard read, and by hard I mean it's like a true read. With 2 gas, not a 4-gate. With 1 gas, is a 4-gate. Almost certainly, I would say 8 or 9 out of 10 for both of those. And that's a pretty damn good indicator, because there's a lot of soft reads that make it really difficult.
Cool. All right. Well, shucks. Always stings to lose like that.
I know. It hurts.
But, all right, so we got about 30 minutes left. We can probably squeeze in one more game. How about we let you play one against JMag?
Sure, that sounds good. I was just going to ask, but I didn't want to be rude.
Fantastic. And what, you got a map you like?
Let's do Metalopolis.
Okay.
The Gridiron.
The Gridiron, indeed.
I'm going to think of an irregular play for him. Let me... Yeah, he's so happy.
What a douche.
I did smash him with my Zerg last
I saw that. I was
so
so impressed with your Zerg, by the way.
Well, thank you.
I was like, well, this should be interesting. I haven't seen him off race first toss, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I did play Zerg for 12 years.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Still there.
I hear you might have won a tournament or two in the process.
Yeah, did fairly well. Were you able to talk to Cats and Red? I'd be interested to hear, what do they think about Overlord scouting? I mean, it's not like super important, but what were their thoughts if you asked them?
As far as the directional thing?
Yeah.
Well, it didn't come up with Cats. Definitely talked about it with Rhett, and Rhett just said in his Dutch accent that I'm not going to try to emulate that. It's stylistic, you know.
Stylistic, yeah, and it is different from Brood War, because in Brood War the 2-gate was much more viable.
Mm-hmm.
But these maps are smaller too, so I don't know. Just not enough people 2-gate to make it like super important, I think.
I think you know, there's time. It'll come back into fashion at some point.
Yeah.
So do you have a Zerg philosophy that you like to adopt when you're playing the race?
I'm really, you know, it's no secret. It's something I've talked with you a lot about. I'm really, really high up on the resaturation aggression. I feel like if you attack and you guys have the Wash Army, and then you just sit in mass and do the same thing repeatedly, the Protoss is getting more money in return for their units in those situations and allows them to rebuild their sentries.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually losing. You're just dying slower. Especially with these army compositions. This Void Ray mix, and now people are finding out that the mothership's actually okay. I mean, not even okay, it's actually quite powerful.
Yeah.
Late game PvZ. That I feel like on these tiny maps, it's becoming a place where the Zerg really has a window of opportunity. And it's not even a window of opportunity, it's like an imperative window of opportunity where if they don't do something at that time, I feel like they lose. Like that Delta Quadrant game we watched,
yeah.
where you played. I don't know. I really feel like I think that was not a winnable game from a certain point onward. I don't know what you could have done differently to win after he gets that 4th.
Yeah. You know, I felt like we had that one engagement there at that goal where I felt like I killed a lot of stuff and I remaxed and I just kind of gave him time. And then with the when we fought again, he had everything. And it was just like, oh fuck.
Yeah. You still there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah. I think when I clickety-clack on my keyboard, it drowns you out because Skype's like trying to acquire the channel or something. So here's that probe. It is his only probe out on the map unless he's doing something. Immediately kill it, and now it's time to go check out the front of his base, because he's been 4-gating.
Yep. So, we kind of saw this with your little coaching session with JMag. There's this Zerg style that revolves around